Cancel culture.
Lord, I got situated myself.
It's hard, you know. Cause
it is, yeah.
If you breathe wrong,
especially if you're such an influence, like if you're really big, like
if you too confident, they're gonna try to cancel you. But at the same time, you gotta stand firm in who you are, regardless of the hate that comes your way.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction. Super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 100K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
I've seen Korean comedians come on and try to be funny while putting black shoe polish on it. That's not acceptable.
Living here, I have never felt the need to be afraid of the police.
One thing that I really love about Korea and that would keep me here is the safety.
이게 사귀는 거 친구 아니야?
사귀는 거.
It's not friend?
Yeah.
Come on in, bro.
My name is Tanea.
Maniac.
Shakira, Tina.
Sam.
저는 한현민이라고 하고요. 저는 한국에 사는 흑인입니다.
I learned so much from you guys today.
New communities.
New adventures with our new friends. Ganbae!
건배.
South Korea is best known for its food, technology, and entertainment, including the global phenomenon K-pop. But when it comes to fashion and music, South Korea has had a lot of influence from African American culture.
Motivation, determination, reach your destination.
This influence dates back to the 1950s, when the U.S. sent forces into South Korea during the Korean War, including many black people who decided to settle there. Today, South Korea's black community is made up of Africans and African Americans who eventually decided to stay after completing their military service, as well as scholars and entrepreneurs. Within the last 30 years, the affinity for black culture has grown across South Korea's 99% ethnic Korean population. And the influence continues to grow as black people from all over the world have made South Korea their home.
So it seems like out of all of the Asian, Black in Asia series videos that we have watched, I believe this is the last one. It seems like South Korea is the place that has the bigger black population out of all of them. So this is going to be an interesting subject.
Yes, real experience by the multitude, so everyone can like relate, not just a section on a map, you know what I'm saying?
For this reason, we brought together a spectrum of black people living in Korea to share their unique stories about culture, community, and the black experience in Korea. I've changed my style and appearance living in Korea. 3, 2, 1.
Now, before they answer, I can say that what if South Korea just have that impact? Like they're like, yeah, we got that flavor. You feel me? So when you come out here like dressing like us or dressing on a modern like trend that may be popping up around that time, it's a thing. It's not a bad thing to switch up your style, especially if it's suitable for who you are and it matches your personality.
Right, and that is what I was going to say, because I feel like here, just watching a lot of expats and people who study abroad and people who move later in life and just hearing their personal stories, they would say when they move there or when they travel there, they realize that there's a certain way that different places dress, especially like in places like the UK, they'll say it's a better look. It makes them, like, for women, they'll say they dress a little bit more feminine here. They have helped me develop my style more here. So I don't feel like this is necessarily a bad thing.
I feel like my style has maybe like leveled up since I came to Korea. Because before I was very much of like a tom girl, whatever. But I know that like go to Walmart with some sweatpants on, something no makeup on. You know what I mean?
I used to love doing that.
Like just so comfortable. But here in Korea, everyone's always pretty. They have their makeup on.
The type here that clothes are not always accommodated for. So I find myself having to make my clothes fit for the culture. It's like I'm still wearing the clothes I would back home,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm having to make it fit into what is socially acceptable. I've been living in Korea permanently since 2019. I like living here in Korea, but I feel that beauty standards in Korea cater towards white skin, fair hair, and anything that revolves around being skinny. Sometimes I'll go into the stalls where they sell the clothes on the side of the streets, and the ladies will look at me and they're like, "Girl, you got too much junk back there. None of these clothes are gonna fit you." And I appreciate the honesty, but sometimes I just want to look. It's unfortunate because I feel that there are also Korean people who have similar body types as me or who have dark skin just like me, and I can only imagine how they feel being that they're Korean and they're probably not as accepted either.
I dated people to get better at speaking Korean or English. 3, 2, 1.
Listen, sis.
Very different.
Listen,
Well, yeah.
we're on the same line.
So I feel like one of the best ways to learn a language is to actually immerse yourself in the culture. And if one of those ways is actually being what somebody is, although it's not the main reason, it's one of the ways that can help. And I feel like it's a beneficial part on both ends of the relationship because it's not always Korean, it's also English.
I mean, for me personally, when I first came to Korea, and I always asked people what was the best way to learn the language, they always say, get yourself a Korean girlfriend. It's the quickest way because you spend a lot of time with her. But I realized, okay, I can also spend time with just friends. If you find a bunch of foreigners who are really eager to study Korean, that can really help you a lot, at least from my experience.
Foreigners that don't speak English, and then you can only communicate in Korean.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Tanea. I have a tech company out here. I've been living in Korea for 5 years. I feel like only in Korea could I've ever become a tech CEO in my 20s.
Wow.
So I've had a very strong dating life in Korea. Right now, I've been seeing someone for the past 2 years. My sweetheart and I, we actually have a pretty good dynamic. I think what helped a lot with our relationship is that he didn't really grow up watching TV. So he really didn't have any preconceptions of what someone who looks like me should be or what Americans should be. He's not concerned with other people think. He just likes me for me. Of course, I like him for him.
I'm curious, 현민, what do you think? 이제 영어를 배우기 위해서 누구랑 사귄 적이 있죠?
아, 이게 사귀는 거예요? 친구 아니에요?
사귀는 거.
It's not friend?
Yeah.
Come on in, bro.
I consider myself black. 3, 2, 1.
Hell yeah.
How you doing? Yeah.
I can't stand there because the acceptance from the black community. When I'm in the States, they call me Chinese Mike. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell them I'm half Asian.
But you clearly sound like a black man, though. Like,
I mean, I could sound like it, but it doesn't mean that I'm accepted as one, which makes me think, am I? You know what I'm saying? I know my bloodline, but since I'm half Korean, it makes me like, that's what, I'd be standing over there if it wasn't for the objections of the black community.
Being biracial, you guys kind of are stuck in between this weird, like, am I Korean? Am I black? Where do I fit in? Where's my community? But you are also biracial too, so.
oh yeah, well, because I'm black and Mexican, but like all of us came out black, so it's like, I mean, like, so it is what it is, and it was interesting because the Mexicans in our family didn't want blacks in their family, so I didn't really get to partake in much of that culture. Yeah, that's why I'm just blackly black. I am a black woman.
네, 저도 비슷한 이유예요. 왜냐면 어쨌든 반은 아시안이니까. 그리고 이제
오히려 저는 미국에 갔을 때 많이 들었던 소리가 다들 와서 물어봐요. 너 완전 오리지널 아니지? 너 어디가 좀 섞인 것 같아? 라는 질문을 되게 많이 들었었어가지고 반반이라고 생각해요. 50-50.
Same with the other guy.
70-30.
저희 어머니는 한국 사람, 이제 동양인이고요. 저희 아버지는 나이지리아 사람, 아프리카에서 온 나이지리아 사람입니다. 그냥 어렸을 때는 이제 유치원을 다닐 때는 유치원을 다니기 전에는 좀 뭐랄까 이제 부모님이랑만 지내다 보니까 조금 되게 신기하게 보는 친구들이 되게 많았고 그러므로 인해서 되게 놀림을 당하는 경우도 되게 많았던 것 같아요. 놀리는 거에 있어서 좋아하는 사람이 어디 있겠어요. 당연히 다 싫어하지만 네, 그래도 어쨌든 저는 여기서 쭉 살아야 되니까 그거를 좀 견뎌내고 살아왔던 것 같아요. 하지만 예전에 제가 어렸을 때는 인식이 많이 좋아지고 있는 시기라고 생각합니다.
It was the curly hair. It was the curly hair.
I get offended by the appropriation of black culture in Korea. 3, 2, 1.
무슨 말이야?
Offended is such a Like, strong
Yeah, I know,
word.
strong, right?
Offended is such a
Offended, yeesh.
strong word.
Sometimes
Okay, while they figuring out what they gonna do, because they literally like, I don't know. So when it comes to other cultures appropriating black culture, I don't feel like myself get offended unless it's a person who just don't behave like the people they are.
Yeah.
Because like when it comes to sound like, okay, now it just seems like you're trying to be a culture that you're not. Like every single day, the way you speak, yeah.
There's only one exception when it comes to that.
Yeah, but individually, I don't get offended by that
No,
because I feel like it's more so appreciation than appropriation.
The only reason why I said there's only one way that I see will be accepting is if the person grew up around that environment and you can't help that person can't help how their language come off. You know what I'm saying? Their lingo is our lingo. You know what I'm saying? And you will see that from a mile away. You could tell that's not forced.
Right.
But then when you hear the forced, you know what I'm saying? When you see they try to mimic the swag or they try to mimic the hair type or they try to mimic, you know what I'm saying, your way of being friends with everybody so they want to be involved. That then comes off as like a little cringing. Yeah. Because you're kind of like overstepping.
Yeah,
it's
they
like, be
imitating
yourself.
the whole life.
Pretty much.
That's the only time. So let's see.
I feel like in some instances, it comes from a place where they are trying to learn, but we also have to understand appropriation can lead to negative stereotypes because sometimes it feels like a cosplay of like black people.
Wow.
There are also people out there who are literally putting on black people as a costume. At the end of the day, I'm always going to be like this. I can't. So it's like
that makes sense. Yeah.
Say you like rock and roll. I mean, like say you like rock and roll something, but there's an image to that genre.
Right, I get it.
They want to be a part of that genre.
Right.
So how can you? I don't find that offensive.
Right.
If I see that, I'm like, it makes me feel good. I'd rather them want to be us than.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I can listen to, let's say, I can listen to
opera.
I can listen to opera, but that
music.
doesn't mean I'm gonna dress like I'm like that. You know, I'm gonna just listen to the music. I'm not gonna try to create, like she said, a costume. I'm gonna put on a costume. I'm gonna speak how they speak. I'm gonna approach people how they approach people. No, that's when it becomes a little cringy.
Yeah, and I think the conversation is very simple though. Like the understanding of it, it's like be yourself. Even if it comes off as all right, the question was, is it offensive to the other culture, basically? And I think a person will know if it's becoming offensive or not. The one who's actually trying to imitate, another style, and then they should automatically understand that they're doing it the wrong way, or try to generate the wrong energy back from people to be accepted in a way.
Yeah, I guess it just boils down to motives.
Motives, like she mentioned earlier. Some people do want to learn, but I'd rarely come across somebody who say I want to learn how to be or walk like you walk, or you know
That's
what I'm saying.
Cringy, like
I rarely come across someone who want to learn unless it's a language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I speak like multiple languages and you come into my world basically, and you have to deal with people that's talking multiple languages, I understand that.
Right.
But if you come over here like a barbecue, for instance, and you see all the kids killing it, you know, they're dancing, doing the dances they can do, and then you try to go and try to do that, then you try to go into the next group and try to do that, but then you go home and you're not that. It's like,
yeah, it's just a little cringy, you know, a little bit like, you don't like your culture?
again, at the end of the day, I feel though if you grew up around an environment and there was no shaking it, you can't help who you grew up to be.
Right, I agree.
And at the end of the day, when you live within a certain culture, you want to emulate the good parts, the good aspects of that culture, right? If you like Michael Jordan and you wore a jersey that said 23, I know this guy likes Michael. Like you don't have to go above and beyond and you like paint your face and then you try to do like that. I'm like, nah, that ain't it. So it almost goes from you appreciating it to almost like mocking
Yeah,
it.
there's a difference between mocking the black culture and trying to make themselves look like it. Like when I was younger, I seen comedians, like Korean comedians, come on and try to be funny while putting black shoe polish on it. That's not acceptable. But I don't think nobody would put dreads in their hair if they hated the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. As far as the paint, that's how I feel. Like if it's the paint thing, no.
I was going to do this movie shoot, and one of the directors was like, hey, do you know where I can get some fake hair to do some cornrows? And I was like, for me? I don't want cornrows in my hair. Are we just talking about braids or what? She was like, no, for an actual actor. And I was like, is he black? And she's like, no, he's Korean. So for me, I don't necessarily get offended. I just want to be the educator.
Right.
Well, I'm really thankful to be here in Korea because like I come from such a small town in Tennessee. So I never thought that I would actually be living my K-pop choreographer dream.
Tennessee?
Korean people normally think that I'm very cool when they see me, but they also think that I am very intimidating. When people tell me that, I always question like, why? I'm like such a nice person, I'm very bubbly, but I can understand because like I'm different, you know, like they've never really seen someone of a different race before. And then also there's like the stereotypes of like black people, and then maybe they're also intimidated by my presence.
Korea has a strong cancel
ooh,
culture.
it's a juicy one.
3, 2, 1.
Yo! Man, they even cutting up about this one.
I've been unemployed for 2 years, bro.
I know. Sam can tell it best.
Okay,
Go ahead, Sam,
please explain to us your situation.
Never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that speaking on something that I felt like I was entitled to speak on would get me canceled so hard. Like literally, when I made the post about blackface, it became a topic overnight. I couldn't do any work. Like they canceled me hard, dropped me like a hot potato.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
But here's what gets me is that you had been
Where the South Korean YouTubers at so we could go read up on the tea.
Right, that's
What?
cancel culture. We know about some cancel culture.
How does that work in the social media space? Because I feel like as content creators in the whole industry, especially on our channel, we talk about a lot of controversial topics. They couldn't do what we do.
Right. They canceling.
Wow.
before in Korea.
Exactly, yes.
So what do you think?
You work, like they canceled me hard, dropped me like a hot potato.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
But
man.
here's what gets me is that you had been talking about racism before in Korea.
Exactly, yes.
So what do you think made this last time different?
When your platform gets bigger, right, you have more responsibility. And so what you say really affects a lot of people, right? And I'm sure at a certain point they're like, oh, this is Sam, the black guy in Korea who's doing entertainment, right? I'm always talking good about Korea. People like that. But the one time that I said something that was perceived as negative, they're like, nah, you can't do that.
They X you out?
Exactly. It felt like it was an attack on them. And
okay,
well, I think that he's so he's a YouTuber or he's social media influencer or something.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but from what I'm hearing, when you're small on the platform, whether you're an Instagram guru, model, or anything, right? When you're small on a platform, the big people don't even notice you. So the little impact you're doing around you, that's you getting people to like you, understand what you're doing, understand your mission, you're building a village, that's fine. But when your platform gets big and you start to that wave, it's like a slow flood that's going into other people's territories, and it starts to literally take up more space. Then they start to see why our heads turning away from my table to go look at this location. So whenever you are start to impact more people because your platform has gotten bigger, then that's when the bigger people who have more power already can have a moment of canceling going on around.
And it's not even the big people, it's the audience.
Well, the audience, first off, like, okay, for instance, if someone is big in a space that you're growing in and they shade light on something that you're doing in a negative way,
When they repost
who they're going to listen to first?
The bigger person.
The bigger person, right? So they're going to slowly look at you and be like, yeah, we've been rocking with him longer, or her longer, so let's cancel this person. Because they just made us understand something that we didn't peep game on. And it's kind of sad, actually.
It's when people, like, try to switch exactly what you're saying and try to make it fit into what they're saying. For example, like on the channel, with us trying to learn all of the cultures around the world, like we genuinely want to learn, but at the same time we share things from our perspectives. We share like how things relate to each other when we learn, oh, okay, they do this in Europe, oh, but they do this in Mozambique too.
Right,
you know, trying to
build
make
that gap.
make the connection. We may say something.
Close the gap. I say build. Close the gap.
Yeah, close the gap. We may say something and we're not saying it from an offensive place,
Never.
but someone may take it offensive, although we don't mean it that way.
But you know why they do though, babe?
What?
Because, you know, people are afraid of things they never experienced. So if they're in a space where all they do is this every single day and their media is only this every single day, and then a person trickles into their window and then right on their doorstep and then right on their table and then they're told something about what's happening across the world, they're kind of panicky because they was like, yo, I didn't know they was doing that too. I thought we was the only one who had that right.
Right,
you know?
right. And at the same time, perception matters.
100%.
What we may feel is an issue, like a lot of times when we're talking about the race issues that we have in America, people from abroad for example, the way we categorize the different races instead of just all being American. People from other places abroad may look at that as foolish. Y'all are the only ones who categorize your people by race. At first, we didn't know that. We thought it was the same everywhere.
Right.
So now we understand them better. So it's just perception of everything matters. And
100%. Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. That's why people got to just continue to stay with an open mind, never stay closed, and never think that the world revolves around just your ideas and your atmosphere and your reality. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different things happening. So many that we haven't even tapped into yet. You know what I'm saying? So,
like, this space, it's a love and hate relationship sometimes.
it really is. You know what I'm saying? But you got to take the good, though. You got to take the good from it.
They asked me out hard to the point where my own Korean friends that supported me, they were getting attacked.
Wow.
사실 뭐랄까 그냥 이 한국에서 공인으로 산다는 거는 되게 조심해야 할 게 많은 것 같아요. 그러다 보니까 저는 SNS도 되게 조심스럽게 쓰고 그러다 보니까 조금 잘 안 하려고 해요. 소셜미디어도 그렇고.
올라가는 거 천천히 올라가는데
내려올 때
떨어지면 아주 뚝 떨어져요.
That is able to get it back up.
Yeah.
즐거운 추석 되세요. 안녕히 계세요. 감사합니다. 네. I work in Korea as an actor and a TV personality. 추석 때문에 놀러 오신 거예요? I love this place so much. Everywhere I went, I use my platform to promote Korea. I have experienced a lot of good things compared to bad things.
So Sam, what is this called?
This is called shrimp extraordinaire.
Okay. Extraordinaire.
So I grew up in Ghana, Accra to be precise. I have 5 younger siblings, and I used to cook. I was the designated cook of my family. My younger siblings are getting older now, and it's really difficult to connect, and it can get pretty lonely sometimes. Even when I look back and I reflect 2 years ago, right? I really wonder, like, what would have happened if I didn't have friends who stood, like, beside me. You guys were, like, ready to go to war. In August of 2020, I experienced cancel culture. People kept sending me a post about a group of students that did cosplay, but they painted their faces black. I went on the gram talking about how disappointed I was, but somehow things blew up. And the hate that poured in was so overwhelming, I did not know what to expect. The truth is, it can be too much for one person, right? You guys, and even some of my Korean friends who were like, nah, we're gonna stick beside you. That really meant a lot to me. And for me, that was the moment where I realized these guys are not just my friends, these guys are like family.
Yeah, man, cancel culture never really existed until, like, I mean, you can say...
social media.
Well, I guess I don't even know what type of timestamp you could put on that timeline.
No, before
you know
social media, I would say TV. Since TV.
Back in the day, like whenever someone would get canceled, it wasn't in our face. Like the whole culture is like everyone's on board, everyone know about it, everyone talking about it. It's not like that nowadays though.
Yeah.
So something happens, especially with how social media set up.
Yeah. If
something happens, it's gonna be on everyone's phone.
It will be. I feel like cancel culture.
Oh, I got situated myself.
It's hard, you know. Cause
it is, yeah.
If you breathe wrong,
especially if you such a influence, like if you really big, like
if you too confident, they're gonna try to cancel you. But at the same time, you gotta stand firm in who you are, regardless of the hate that comes your way. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm learning that the hard way. I just didn't think. For me, as a passionate person and confident person that I am, that I would get hate online. You know, because I'm not going to brag on myself and toot my own horn, but I am. I'm a pure soul. You know, I don't try to be malicious to anybody.
Come on, yeah.
But people are threatened by the things I say and how I say it. I can't change who I am. I like who I am.
They never saw Sierra on this side of the world.
Right.
That's all it is.
So it's like, I look at it from... like that way too, and you know, even going to you guys, our family, and Dion, like I asked him, like, did I say it in a mean way?
And you have to have people around you that you can ask these questions to. You need to have honest critiques around you, like
it's hard, but when it comes to the blackface, and he is from Ghana. I don't know what, I know that, you know, I don't know what was going on during the time of colonialism in Africa when it came to blackface, but I know here they were creating whole careers off of being blackface and, you know, putting on black people as a costume. I would be the person that would say, hey, like, this is what happened in the past. This is why it's definitely not okay now.
Give them facts, yeah.
Yeah, I would give them facts. I wouldn't be like, you can't do this. You know, I would just go and educate the people. I've never seen the post, but I don't see what was wrong at talking about that.
I mean, if someone talked about it, it's out there to be talked about. So why not just finish the conversation off, but from another perspective? And I feel like that's what he most likely did.
Or maybe it was from a perspective of South Koreans feeling like he was bringing negativity to it. But at the same, like, that's a sticky situation being in a country like that, and I could see why they would be mad, but I also see why he was mad.
I mean, and this is the funny part about all of this. Media only shows certain things to certain groups of people around the world.
Oh.
So if you're in an area, you know, so far I don't think he said how long he's been in South Korea.
13 years.
13 years?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say 5 minimum, because everybody else been there for like a little 5.
13 like 11.
That's a while, bro. Like, so if you out there and you see the media that they're displaying, that's not displayed somewhere else, and yeah, it's kind of like, when do you get you know what I'm saying? You can say something like
that. But he's on TV. He's a TV personality.
So that hit different.
Yes. I remember we had a news anchor in Dallas, and she was a curvy woman, and she dressed to impress. You know, she on TV every morning, and there were people calling in complaining about what she had on. She didn't have on nothing that was inappropriate. She was just a curvy woman.
Yeah.
And they didn't want that on their TV.
But they want to talk about some culture appreciation.
Talk about it.
I've had experiences with the police in Korea. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should stand here.
So the popo came for y'all, or?
I'm super curious to know what happened. Like, what happened?
I used to party a lot.
Right.
And since I speak Korean, I hear everything that they're saying, and when they, especially when they speak about black people, because that was the crowd I used to, you know what I'm saying, the military soldiers I used to kick it with. But yeah, they actually said the N-word, and
Do they realize that you're also black, or they don't know?
they didn't. Well, they knew. Yeah, we was all dark. We was all sitting there like everybody was black. You know what I'm saying? So, but they said it in Korean at first, and then they said it in English. So I mean, then we got into a physical altercation. That's when it popped off. Yeah, it hurt a couple people.
I see. It's crazy because, like, living here, I have never felt the need to be afraid of the police. Like, it's so safe. Every time I see the police just strolling around in the neighborhood, just say hi to you, and I'm like, yo, you can never like feel like this anywhere else. Like when I went to America the first time and I was driving, a police stopped me, and I was scared.
Of course.
I was like, oh my gosh. I had to pretend not to speak English. So I spoke Korean.
How did you do that?
I spoke Korean and I showed them my Korean driver's license. And they looked like, oh, dang. And they just let me go. I was scared. I was really scared, but I never felt that here. And I gotta say, man, like, I really feel safe. Yeah, without a doubt. Definitely living here.
I found a strong black community in Korea. 3, 2,
They say strong.
1.
Strong black community.
So she over there, so there's somewhat of a community.
You know what? I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick to this one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
When I
let's
first
hear it,
came to
though.
Korea, there was this group on Facebook called BSSK.
I know
Right,
what
like
you mean.
brothers and sisters of South Korea.
That was so dramatic.
Right.
I know
It's like,
what
as a
you
black
mean.
person, you come to Korea, that's like the first group you need to join, right?
Yes.
However, as an African, I realized that there's several African communities here,
Yes.
and they stick together.
It's separate.
Right.
So it's kind of like the black Americans kind of stick to themselves, and then like
right.
I can't relate. And also, I think I have a little residual, I guess, trauma from being back in the States, where I was called things like Oreo, and the other black girls, like, hated me. And then when you come to Korea, and then I'm not even in the same, like, job sphere. And so, yeah, the community altogether was a little lost for me.
I didn't even know there was a black community in Korea, and for the longest time I felt alone. I expect there to be some type of connection, but when I actually speak to any black person, I feel more of a rival feeling than I do of a community feel. I'm like, I thought we were supposed to like help each other out, but like I never found the community. Wow. This is the strongest community I ever found. And y'all probably change when the cameras go off.
No!
I like his
I go by the name of Maniac. I was actually born in Germany, Nuremberg. My father was in the military. And then we got out to Korea in 1983. You know, this is the first time we spent Chuseok together after Mom passed away.
It sure is. And you know, I tell you what, I really miss that.
My father, he's fully African American. My mother was Korean. She had to raise bicultural children. And I know it wasn't easy on her. And now I have a daughter. Lydia definitely doesn't think that she's black, but on the other side, she doesn't think she's Korean either, so. Why do you come home crying sometimes? You said like they don't treat you right.
Every time if I go to dance class, they're not like treating others like equally.
Yeah, they don't treat you equal. I felt that when I was younger too.
I remember the times you came home crying too when you were younger.
Don't put that, no. For real?
Yes. Because of
what was it over? I mean, I know I got my feelings hurt a lot. I just don't remember everything. It was so many times, but
you never really told me exactly why. But then I know I'm sure that's what it was.
Me looking different, they'll let you know in the playgrounds that you're not the same color. I wish I didn't speak Korean sometimes because a lot of my problems were with when I could hear what they were saying, I couldn't do nothing about it. I try to help Lydia navigate through all these problems by explaining to her that she's not the only one that's been through it.
Okay, all right.
And the feelings that she's feeling is natural. And like one day she'll get used to it and she'll understand that it's just a culture difference. It's not her.
Nah, bro, I must say he's doing a great job because instead of like fueling it and trying to make her believe something, you know what I'm saying, he's debunking it and trying to make her know that you don't have to be mad at people because of their misunderstanding of how you was raised and where you come from, you know what I'm saying, and she's still figuring herself out too, you know, because she don't, you know, say she's black or Korean, so she's still figuring herself out.
And that makes me sad. Like, y'all know I love kids, so it's like, what do she look at herself as? Just a human? That's okay, just a human, you know, but it's like, in order to minimize the bullying, because you'll never be able to stop ignorant kids, especially ignorant kids with ignorant parents, you know, but being firm in who you are will help a lot of that, you know, and one day she'll get to that place.
Yeah, she will, you know what I'm saying, and that's for anybody that's watching. A lot of times if you have identity crisis, you just need to highlight the parts of you that you're confident in and let that slowly be your identity, and it's already a part of you, so as you're putting the puzzle pieces together, you're going to create an image that you are without someone having to continue to tell you that you're not this, you're not that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I be talking facts, man.
Ooh, motivational speaker.
Boy, I be on it, yo.
All right, Lydia.
Wow.
I'm the only one not catching anything. Hold on.
Nah, I need another one of those right there. For sure.
I will live in Korea for the rest of my life. 3, 2,
I don't see them all leave.
Oh, yay, I have friends. I really thought I was going to be the only one.
Now, this answer right here, you guys, that they given, I personally like to view it as them just want to expand their experiences in life. I don't want to believe that they're thinking, I hate it here. You know what I'm saying? My experiences has been troubling. You know, so I really want to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating.
내가 태어난 나라기 때문에. 그리고 아니 여기 있으면 편해요.
그렇지.
마음도 정신적으로.
맞아.
여기 저도 이제 많은 나라를 저 다녀봤는데 여기만큼 편리한 나라가 있나?
없어.
네. 그리고 또 이 밤 문화도 잘 돼 있고. 네. 애초에
24시간.
밤에도 뭐가 다 돼 있고 그냥 밤도 나처럼 행동할 수 있잖아요. 네. 그냥 진짜 이보다 편리한 나라가 있을까요? 잘 없을 것 같아요.
I feel like I'm making waves for myself to stay here longer, but I'm not always sure if that's going to be feasible or not because things are always changing.
As for me, I always joke, I will be here until they kick me out of the country because, I mean, I know I'm always going to be the foreigner, so they could, you know, anytime they wanted to, but me, myself, and I, and my partner, and then, you know, have a pretty nice life here in Korea.
One thing that I really love about Korea and that would keep me here is the safety, right? Because, you know, you can leave your cell phone on the table, you can leave your computer there.
Not around me.
No one's going to take it.
I could stay here as long as I want, but it might be because I'm a very emotional person, and I was emotionally damaged when I was a child by the culture. But I love Korea. I mean, I'd have to go with you because of my children's safety, no guns, because I had a lot of friends that did in the States with guns, and that's something I just don't want to have to worry about on the side, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel safe sending them to like the corner store without anything popping off in between, so I'd have to go with safety.
That's good.
I don't know. I thought the funniest part was when Hyunmin misunderstood the dating question, and he was like, "Oh wait, we're not talking about friends. Oh, never mind. Let me right back over here."
Knowing your experiences makes me look at Korea in a different kind of way. You know, more positive, and knowing that you two also experience what we experience. So I'm really thankful to be here in Korea, but living here for as long as I have, I start to miss my family. You know, you start feeling homesick after a while. So yeah, I'm kind of stuck in this weird nexus.
You guys helped me shed a light on a different perspective. I learned so much from you guys today. As a Black woman, I feel like as time progresses, there are people who are willing to take chances with me, and I appreciate them.
Were you like careful with some of the answers because of the negative feedback you got from being yourself in Korea?
I stopped thinking about it and just went with my gut and my truth and what I wanted to say.
Stand in your
I went
truth.
with the truth, and I hope it doesn't X me out of the game. But hey, being an outsider to both worlds is very traumatizing as a child. But I guess I always felt a little different. But I made that my plus and ran with that. 막내 어디 있어? 막내 누구야?
한국 사람들에 비해는 많이 없다 보니까 그런 커뮤니티가 있고 뭔가 그런 문화를 공유하고 뭐랄까 살면서 불편한 것들을 뭔가 개선을 하기 위한 그런 되게 좋은 취지의 커뮤니티가 있으면은 저는 정말 좋을 것 같아요. 실제로도 아마 몇 개 있는 걸로 알고 있어요.
뭘 위해서?
New community?
New community?
New adventures with our new friends.
Come
This was a fire group. Very great discussion.
Yeah, out of all of them, I feel like this was the. I don't know. I don't like choosing favorites, but this was my favorite discussion.
I feel that.
Yeah. I didn't feel like it was so much tension. It felt most of the time that everybody was on the same page. I like this group. I did.
Yeah, I like when you guys send videos in like this. It just helps people walk through doors of perspective. Well, let me say it like this: perspectives allow people to walk through doors less fearfully. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they get an opportunity to know that it's okay over here. That this is possible. Because some people be stuck. They don't know which way to go.
Right.
So all these experiences is very helpful for the people in South Korea.
Yeah.
And all the black communities that would love to live there one day.
Right. So let us know your experiences. If you are from South Korea, either a black person, a native, it doesn't matter. Or another Asian country, or, wherever. We'd love to learn about you and your experiences. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.